Why did Jungkook fall completely silent after speaking to Taehyung that night? And what is the painful secret both of them are keeping from Jimin? One so heavy, it left even the strongest among them unable to sleep. A storm is brewing within South Korea's military camps, and it has nothing to do with drills, tactics, or discipline. It's not the loud sound of boots hitting gravel or the commands echoing through early morning fog that's shaking fans and insiders alike. It's a silent war of hearts, guilt, and secrecy between three of BTS's most beloved members, Jimin, Taehyung, and Jungkook. And this time, it's not just a matter of reunion, it's a matter of trust. Reports surfaced this week that Park Jimin, who has been serving his mandatory military service with quiet resilience and signature grace, was recently hospitalized inside the camp facility due to a sudden and alarming health decline. While officials have kept their statements vague, citing fatigue-related complications and temporary overexertion, insiders have told a story far more haunting. Yet amidst this worry, a strange calm was noticed in two other military camps, those housing Kim Taehyung V and Jungkook. And it wasn't peace. It was a silence so deliberate it raised suspicion something changed. And for the first time in a long time, neither Taehyung nor Jungkook reached out to Jimin, at least not in the way he would have expected. No video messages, no calls, no notes passed through trusted friends. Not even one of Jungkook's playful voice notes that once kept Jimin smiling through tough days. Instead, whispers from military personnel and fellow trainees say they've both been holding something back, avoiding conversations about Jimin entirely. Even their mood around each other has become unusually tense, as if a fragile truth is hanging between them, and neither of them dares to let it slip. What are they hiding? Why now? And does Jimin know what's going on behind his back? The answers to these questions are buried in a timeline that begins not with illness, but with a letter Jimin wrote 3 weeks before he collapsed. A letter that never reached its intended recipient. The letter that never arrived. Jimin's private words to Jungkook and Taehyung 3 weeks ago. Jimin, known for his emotional sincerity and quiet reflections, handwrote a letter intended for Taehyung and Jungkook. According to a military staff member who spoke on condition of anonymity, Jimin poured out not just his concern for their well-being but expressed increasing fears about his own health. He mentioned feeling dizzy often, having trouble sleeping, chest pains. He was pushing through training but said something didn't feel right, the source said. He wanted to tell them but didn't want to make them worry. That was very Jimin. The letter was never delivered. Why? That's where the story fractures, and where the mystery truly begins. According to a separate insider from Taehyung's camp, a military mail handler intercepted the letter, deemed its contents too emotionally sensitive, and flagged it to Taehyung privately rather than sending it through the usual channels. What Taehyung read changed everything. And he didn't tell Jungkook immediately. Taehyung's solitary breakdown. He sat with it alone. Taehyung, who has always worn his emotions with quiet poise, reportedly kept the letter to himself for over 48 hours before showing it to Jungkook. Those close to him say he didn't eat properly and skipped an entire evening training drill, sitting alone behind the dormitory instead. He kept rereading it, said the source. He looked like he didn't know whether to cry or scream. What followed was even more jarring. When Taehyung finally approached Jungkook, under the moonlight by the outdoor shower stalls where they used to joke about getting too many mosquito bites, he handed him the letter without saying a word. Jungkook read it, finished it, and then he just stood there for minutes, saying nothing. Later that night, he reportedly turned his phone face down, refused to eat, and skipped the weekly call session usually dedicated to family check-ins. They both knew, and they both made a decision, the pact, a silent agreement to keep the truth from Jimin. What would you do if the person you loved like a brother wrote you a letter fearing for his life, but also begged you not to worry? What if telling him that you received it might crush the little strength he had left? Taehyung and Jungkook, in that fragile moment, decided to protect Jimin from his own fear. Or so they believed. They agreed not to reply, not to send him their panic, not to burden him with their worry. They promised not to let him know they'd read it. But this silent vow would soon twist into something darker. Because Jimin, unaware that the letter had ever reached them, started wondering, why weren't they responding? Jimin's condition worsens, and he begins to doubt. Jimin's health began deteriorating not long after the letter was written. He collapsed during a routine exercise, a slow fall to the ground that startled the platoon. He was unconscious for several seconds, and when he woke up, he whispered one question to the medical officer. "Did they get my letter?" He wasn't asking about his health, that he was asking about his friends. He thought maybe it had gotten lost, or worse, ignored, said another source from his camp. It broke something in him. He got quieter after that. The hospital room without visitors, though Jimin was transferred to the base's medical facility and placed on observation, something even more unusual began to occur. No visitors from his BTS brothers were allowed. Sources claimed that a senior officer in Taehyung's camp placed a specific request to limit contact for emotional stability reasons. Was Taehyung protecting Jimin, or protecting himself from what he might say if he saw him? Absolutely, let's continue. The emotional tension is only beginning to build. We'll now dive deeper into the psychological toll on Taehyung and Jungkook, revisit key moments from their pre-enlistment bond with Jimin, and expose how the guilt of keeping the truth weighs heavier than they expected. The story will take you through flashbacks, emotional unraveling, and the slow unraveling of a secret that was never meant to be kept for this long. The quiet that screamed loudest, Jungkook's disappearance from the weekly messages. In the world of military service, there are few constants, but for BTS fans and fellow soldiers alike, Jungkook's weekly messages had become a cherished rhythm. Even under grueling schedules and emotional fatigue, Jungkook always found a way to send at least a few words, usually light, playful, and reassuring, to ARMY, to his bandmates, and especially to Jimin. But the week after Taehyung handed him Jimin's letter, Jungkook's messages stopped. There was no update, no joke about shared rations, no memory from trainee days, no "Jimin Hyung, I miss your nagging," just silence. Fans were the first to notice. Theories flooded social media. Was he hurt? Was he under punishment? Was he hiding something? They didn't know that Jungkook was in hiding, but not physically. He was emotionally barricaded, curled within himself, replaying every word of Jimin's letter, wondering if protecting him had now started to feel a lot more like abandoning him. And the guilt? It only grew louder. Flashback, the night before enlistment. "Promise me you won't lie to understand the depth of what was lost. We need to revisit a moment that had never before been made public. Until now." It was December 10, 2023. Hours before Jimin's enlistment, he met Taehyung and Jungkook privately in a tucked-away rooftop studio, the same place they had once recorded the now legendary Friends demo during the Map of the Solara. That night, candles flickered. Cold wind slipped in through a cracked window, and Jimin, without looking either of them in the eye, asked a single request. "Promise me you won't lie to me. Even if you're scared I'll fall apart." Neither Taehyung nor Jungkook hesitated. They nodded, their pinky fingers wrapped around his. "You're not alone in this, Hyung," Jungkook said softly, reaching over to squeeze his hand. "We've got each other," Taehyung added, eyes fierce with loyalty. Now, more than a year later, that promise hung between them like barbed wire, because they had broken it.